Hey everybody, just wanted to get some stuff out here while it's fresh on my mind. We're coming back from a big showcase, Stars Over Alabama. Played at 3 different ballparks, depending on what age group you were in and how they divided you up. Over in Calera, Alabaster area. We had a good time. Some things that we learned, a lot of our girls went to camp on Friday night, and they were playing hard, they were working hard, super positive attitudes, all the things that I know about the players that went, seeing them on the field mixed in with the other girls. It was good, it was great. Those college coaches out there, they worked really hard, just teaching. Yeah, they're looking at players. You get to know them coaches at these camps and get to know their personalities a little bit. Saw a lot of great things. Saw a lot of the college coaches talking about the fundamentals. That's refreshing because, as a coach, as a director, we talk about the fundamentals every day. One of the interesting parts was when we got to the Q&A, the question and answer part, the director got up there and introduced all the college coaches to us, and some of the girls got to ask some questions. And just in a quick review, one of the questions, was regarding grades, ACT scores, those kind of things. And a few of the coaches spoke up about that. What are the requirements to get into their school? Those kind of things. So it's very educational. So right then, one of the first points I'd like to bring up is, how well do we do in the classroom? Do we take it serious? Are we motivated at achieving success in the classroom? Some of the other questions brought up were, how do I get recruited? And those kind of things. And some of the girls are quite comfortable going up to a college coach in a camp setting, because that's one of the only times college coach is really allowed to, talk to a player that is a potential recruit. And some of the girls are very comfortable with that. Some of the girls, send out emails, and they made a point about that on how you send out these emails. They can tell if a player is actually the one sending the emails, if they're starting to build a relationship with a coach at one of the schools they might be interested in. But they also said they can tell if it's, a situation where maybe a parent or something like that is actually typing the emails for the players. I guess my second thing that I really learned out about that, and I already knew this, but just want to bring this up, that if you want to go to school, the coaches are going to know if you want to go to school. So don't be nervous. Just be yourself. Of course, in the email, try to spell the coach's name right. Those kind of things. Try to spell your own name right. But be yourself. Just talk to them. Get to know them. To add to that point, one of the coaches made a very clear point, talked a little bit about it, that you got to realize that if you're going to that school, that coach is going to spend a lot of time with you. You may see that coach at 6 a.m., in the weight room. You may see that coach at breakfast. You may see that coach in your classroom. This one coach said she actually goes to the classroom with their freshmen to make sure that they succeed in the classroom. She said if there's 24 hours in a day, which there is, she probably spends 18 hours a day with her students in one way or the other. So you got to find out if this is the kind of coach, this is the kind of person that you want in your life for, 2 to 4 years. And then the coaches also, through these emails and through getting to know you at the camps that you attend and those kind of things, the coach is also trying to find out if you're the kind of person. Notice I didn't say player, but if you're the kind of person that will fit well, within their team, within the process that they have in place. I find that very interesting, and I love hearing them talk about these kind of things. So you're trying to decide if the coach is the right coach for you, and they're trying to decide if you're the right person for them. Because that's what you do. You spend all your time with these coaches, and they spend all this time with their players. So camp's very valuable. That's where you get to know the coaches. That's where you can talk to the coaches a little bit. And something else I found out: don't take a camp for granted. Don't take a swing. Don't take a hustle play. Don't take anything for granted. We had one of our players with Prime Time this week where a coach came up and said, "Hey, you were at this camp last year." When we have our camps that we're scheduling come up, come on out. As a director, I find that neat and awesome that a coach that you might not think that you're on his or her radar actually sees you 1 year later and says, "Hey, come to my camp." So you go to these things, you may not realize who's actually watching you, and some super positive things can happen if you're doing what you're supposed to do. So now I want to go back to some things that I personally noticed this particular weekend. Kind of an observer, people watcher, those kind of things. And I watch players from all different kinds of teams. I've watched coaches call their player over after they're going from defense to offense. And I've seen coaches where every kid is looking the coach in the eye and listening to the coach and saying, "Yes, ma'am," or "Yes, sir." And they're very much paying attention. They're very much in the game. They're very much a part of the team. And then I've seen other teams where the players are not paying attention to the coaches. They're not paying attention to their teammates. It doesn't look like they want to be there. You can tell. Just as, I'm not recruiting anybody, I'm not a college coach. But I pay attention to these things on how can I teach the girls within our organization, with my area of influence, how can I teach them how to progress and be, and achieve the things that they want to achieve. And it brings me to the last point, and then I'll wrap this up. Your coaches spend a lot of time, your parents spend time driving you to and from practice and those kind of things if you're not driving yet. You need to decide if this is really what you want to do. Because by the time you get to these showcases and these events where somebody's actually watching you, you get to that age where somebody's there. And the real question is, are you wasting a college coach's time? Have you put in all the effort, all the practice? Have you studied the game? Do you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that number one, you can be a great player for any of these colleges because you're prepared? Or are you just going through the motions? I see a lot of players that are just going through the motions. I see some players that are trying, like, desperately to get recruited. So there comes a point in time where not only do we have to make a decision and dedicate ourselves to be the best player that we can be, and make a decision to be the best student that we can possibly be. I get all that. We can talk as parents, as directors, as coaches. We can talk to every player every day. But until you make the decision that this is what you want, where are we going from here? You have to make that decision. If you want it, if you feel it, if you need it, if you love it, if you just can't live without it, then pursue it. If it's not softball, it's not softball. Don't be roped into something that you don't want to do. These college coaches can smell that a mile away. Your own coaches can smell that a mile away. So some people may say that this is a difficult thing for a coach or a director to say, but if you don't want to play softball, then don't. If you want to play softball, you got to work every day.